And now we turn to Nigeria, who are meant to be voting for a new president this very Saturday. But the vote in America's, rather in Africa's economic powerhouse and its most populous democracy has been delayed at least 6 weeks because of the violence and insecurity caused by Boko Haram terrorists. President Goodluck Jonathan has just been speaking with the media about this very issue. Take a listen.
Nobody is saying that they must wipe out Boko Haram completely before conduct election in this country. But definitely in the next 6 weeks or so, serious advances will be made. But I'm not saying we'll wipe out Boko Haram.
So promising to make the security situation there better for the people. And when they do vote, they will face a difficult choice between re-electing President Jonathan after 5 years in which security and corruption have got much worse in Nigeria, or electing my guest tonight, the dark horse candidate General Muhammadu Buhari, who ruled briefly 30 years ago after taking power in a coup. Incredibly, polls show the two candidates are now neck and neck. And General Buhari joins me now from the capital, Abuja. General, welcome to the program. Can I ask you first your reaction to the delay in this election by 6 weeks and to what you just heard President Goodluck Jonathan say, that they will make inroads into much more security within the next 6 weeks?
Well, my reaction is that of disappointment, because the presentation made by Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, was that they are ready to conduct the election on the dates they fixed a year ago. And for them to be forced virtually by the military that they cannot guarantee the safety of their workers, they have to concede to the demand of the military of additional 6 weeks. Now, since those 6 weeks are within the constitutional time allowed, that was why we came and asked our supporters to remain calm and resolute,
okay,
and obey the laws.
Okay, General, let me ask you, because you are a former military general, you were ruling the country briefly, why is it that the Nigerian military today cannot take on Boko Haram and have failed to combat that terrorist organization?
Well, this has been made much more clear when the National Assembly attempted to conduct a hearing after soldiers were given interview to foreign media about being sent to the front without proper weapons. The National Assembly attempted to conduct a hearing by getting the budget approved by the National Assembly over the last 3 years, and inviting the service chiefs to come and tell them why is it the weapons were not procured and sent to the soldiers under competent leadership. And that hearing was scuttled. So in short, is the misapplication or misappropriation of the resources provided by government for weapons. That's why the Nigerian military was unable to defeat Boko Haram.
General, you today just got a huge, massive endorsement from a former ally of President Goodluck Jonathan. That is the former President Obasanjo. How do you react to that? I mean, what will that do for your campaign?
Well, it will certainly bring more supporters to us and more confidence again to us for those who were sitting on the fence, because General Obasanjo is highly respected, and as far as the Nigerian nation is concerned, there is no serious issue that can be discussed without people being seeking for his opinion and listening to it.
Can I now ask you about yourself? Because headlines around the world are portraying this election as a choice between a failed president and a former dictator, and you're the former dictator, according to these headlines. You know, people say, and they remember, that you expelled 700,000 migrants, you know, years ago, thinking that would create jobs, that you have banned political meetings and free speech, that you've detained thousands of people, secret tribunals, executing people for crimes that were not capital offenses. Have you changed, or is this what the Nigerian people have to look forward to?
Well, all those things you mentioned, with the degree of accuracy of actually what happened, was then under military administration. And when that military administration came under my leadership, we suspended as military then a part of that constitution that we felt would be difficult for us to operate under those circumstances. So I don't think, I think I was being judged harshly as an individual, that what happened during the military administration can be extended under a multi-party democratic system.
Okay, so now you say you're a Democrat. What do you think you can do to combat Boko Haram and to combat the galloping corruption in your country?
Well, Boko Haram, we know how it started. Certainly the Nigerian military that built a reputation internationally for effectiveness is a great embarrassment to them and to the country that they haven't been able to secure Nigerian territory of an area of 14 local governments out of 774 local governments. I believe this problem will not be too difficult for APC government, because we know the Nigerian military is competent. It's a question of making sure that the money voted for equipment and training are properly utilized.
About corruption, there's so many complaints from many people around your country about the massive corruption, they say. Can you face up against that? Are you committed to rooting out corruption?
We have to, because there are serious citizens of this country that said, unless Nigeria kills corruption, corruption will kill Nigeria. And that is best illustrated by another hearing conducted by the National Assembly on pension funds, question of power, electricity power, and then the corruption in petroleum industry, which the country depends over 90% of its external revenue. The National Assembly conducted the hearing here in Abuja and in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, take the recommendation to the executive, and it has been there collecting dust for the last 18 months.
All right, General Muhammadu Buhari, opposition candidate in Nigeria, thank you very much for joining us from Abuja tonight.